Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong and here I like to talk about luxury beauty. Today we are doing almost an entirely full face of Givenchy. This is one of my favorite makeup brands. It might actually be at the very top of the list, but I find that they are very underrated. They just, they don't do as many frequent launches. So I think a lot of people kind of forget about them, but they have some of the best products in the beauty industry, in my opinion. So we're going to be looking at some of my favorite products as well as some new items to the Givenchy line. And let's get started. I started off today's look with the Cle de Peau Brightening Enhancer Veil Primer. This has broad spectrum SPF 32, and you can see that it's a thin liquid. It has a pink tint to it, and it's surprisingly not too pearly. A lot of times these pink primers or pink glowy fluids have a very pearly effect on the skin, and this one isn't that pearly. There's a little bit of pearlescence to it, but it really just does give a nice like glow from within look to your skin after you top it with foundation. You can use this without any foundation on top as well, and I have found that it's been compatible with everything that I've tried it with. So I really like this primer. For the eyes, I'm using my standard Viseart. This is the Seamless Eye Primer. I use this pretty much every day. It gives a very nice smooth base, makes eyeshadows go on really smoothly, especially now that my eyes are getting a little bit more wrinkled. So it's just fantastic. It also helps with longevity. Moving on for concealer, I'm actually not using a concealer today. I'm taking a little bit of the Cle de Peau Brightening Enhancer Veil and a little bit of the Givenchy Prism Libra Skincare Matte Foundation in shade 1 W105. Mixing those together, I put them on under the eye. I let them sit for about 45 seconds. And then I'm using the Sonia G Soft Concealer brush to pat it in. So it's not going to give you as much concealer or as much coverage as a traditional concealer, but I think the mix with the Brightening Enhancer Veil adds a little brightness. The yellowness of the foundation helps cancel out some darkness as well. So I think the two of them together kind of gives like a lighter effect and helps disguise, a little bit of the under eye area without having as much coverage as a concealer. Moving on to the actual foundation, I'm using a mix of that same matte foundation with the Prism Libra Skincare and Glow Foundation in shade 1 N95. This is my perfect match shade in the Givenchy foundation, and I really love mixing the two of these together. I think they're gorgeous, more of a satin finish on the skin, and they hold up really well. Just so you can see a little bit of those foundations. This is the matte in the 1W105. You can see that it is going to be a little bit warm, which is, obviously what the W is for. And then we also have a little bit of the 1N95, which is going to be neutral. So you can see that there's kind of a difference here. And look at the finishes on their own. The matte foundation, it does dry fairly quickly. Okay, and you can see that you're going to really get like kind of a soft matte look to the skin. There's still a little luminosity. It's not completely a flat matte, but matte products in general, tend to give just slightly more coverage versus our Glow foundation, which is radiant, but again, it's radiant without being pearly, which I really like. So I use this foundation all the time. I used it a lot last summer with like cream products and everything because it just gives that really nice dewy look to the skin, very fresh looking without looking makeup-y. Next, I wanted to show you one of the new items. So this is, well, actually the matte foundation is new as well, but I have talked about that before. These are the Givenchy Prism Libra press powders. So I am a huge fan of the loose powder. I think, what do I have? 4 of them. Yes, I have 4 of the loose powders. I absolutely love them. They're my favorite loose powder. And they made these in a pressed version. Unfortunately, it's not available here in the US. So I purchased mine from Feel Unique. And Feel Unique does ship to the US. You can get free shipping and everything. It just takes a little bit longer. So, you know, like a week, sometimes 2 weeks. But I think it's, you know, you can get things on sale there and everything. It's a really good source, in my opinion. So anyway, I picked up 3 of the shades. They do have 6 shades that match the shades that they now have in the loose powder. So this one here is 1 Mousseline Pastel. Now, these are 9.5 grams. They're made in Italy and they have a 1-year lifespan after opening. Now, we've got like this leather case here with the Givenchy logo in a silver metallic. And when you open this up, you can see you've got 2 layers. By the way, to open it, you actually have a little Givenchy logo button here that you depress. And then if you open this up, you've got a mirror here. You have a brush. And I actually didn't use this brush, but so here's the brush. The brush comes out. You got the Givenchy logo on the tray there. And this actually, you can see you've got these grooves along the side. The brush actually clips in, so it's not going to be like loose and falling out or anything. So it makes it a really portable, compact. You have the tray here, helps keep the mirror clean, keeps the brush separated. And this is number 1, Mousseline Pastel. So let's swatch all of these. And I use these all mixed together, but we're going to swatch these individually. And, you know, these are really going to be hard to see the color differences. So just a heads up, you know, they're all very light. This is their lightest combination. And let me just show you. Here's all of them mixed together. So you can see that this one is going to be a cooler, whiter look in general. All of these shades are a little cool. One of the great things about having this in the press compact is you can pick and choose. You can use these as color correctors as well. So I personally really like to use the lavender shade under the eye. So sometimes I'll just take a little bit on my finger and just tap it underneath. It really sets the under eye area very, very well. So that's kind of my favorite to do with the lavender. Blue and the green, you know, the green can help with some of the redness in cheeks and things like that as well. So I really like this. This is my most used shade from Givenchy. And I also picked up 2 others that I don't have these in the loose powder. This one here is number 2, Satin Blanc. So if you are fair, but you're a little bit warmer, this is going to be a good option because you have more of those pinky peachy shades. So you've got like a soft peach, a warmer peach. This is actually a very soft lilac. And then we have a yellow shade. Let me just get a little bit more of those. So here are these. And again, it's really hard to see the powders on here. I totally get that. But you can kind of see that the overall vibe here is cooler versus warmer. And let's put the all over swatch next to that so you can kind of see. And then this is 3 Voile Rosé. And this is going to be pinker in tone. This will give you more of that like rosy glow. And let's see here. So here's that. And let's put this one, put it right here so you can see that. So you can see that that actually does give a little bit of a pink hue to the skin. Can you see that there? So pink, this is more whitish blue, and this is a little bit more golden peach. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but I did go over these a little bit more so you can kind of see the hues a little bit better. This is our Mousseline Pastel, which is this one here. And that's going to be the all over swatch right there. And then we have number 2, Satin Blanc, which is right from here to here. And that's our swatch. So you can see it's a little bit of a warmer tone, but it's very soft and neutral. And then down here we have number 3, Voile Rosé. And you can see that you got this rosier hue in general, but we do have this golden shade down here, which helps to warm it up a little bit. Here is our swatch for that. So you can see it definitely gives a little bit of a pink hue. And those are going to be the Givenchy powders. Now, as you're looking at this demo, you can see I'm using the Chikuhodo F09. And when I'm putting on the Givenchy powder, you can see that it does have a little bit of a glow to it. There is no shimmer, there's no glitter. But just the way that the powder reflects the light, you can see that it adds a little brightening. And as you can see, I'm comparing this to the Hermes powder in Nuage. And the Nuage powder, it gives a little bit of that brightening effect from the bright white color. It's not quite as translucent. So it adds some brightening just from that. Also from some light reflection. It's definitely got the blurring property. But you can see, looking at both sides of my face, that the side with the Givenchy actually looks a little bit more lifted. Not to say like the cheeks and things like that are lifted, like you would get that appearance from like contour and stuff, but more so the actual skin just looks a little bit more pressed down with the Hermes compared to the Givenchy. And I think that's about how the light is reflected. So the Givenchy is not quite as blurring as the Hermes, but it has a little bit more of a natural looking luminosity to it. And the different colors in there, when you mix those, you end up not creating like kind of that white look that you can get if you use too much powder from the Hermes. Now for me, being so fair, the Hermes powder, the white color is not a deterrent for me, but for people with deeper skin tones, these Givenchy powders might, there's something that you can find there that will probably be a better color match than the Hermes. Keep in mind, the Givenchy powders are, in my opinion, a great value. By the way, these last all day, no issues. I think they give a really nice, natural, luminous finish to the skin. You can use these for setting powder or finishing powder. And I think, using them isolated on their own or mixed together, it's a fantastic concept. I'm not sure why more companies don't make these powder products that use multiple tones. I think it's a better way to get a more natural, more multifaceted look. So I'm personally absolutely loving the pressed powders. I hope they do come to the US at some point. Again, if you are interested in the loose version is my favorite loose powder, and they come in these same shades. So they do match up. Let me just show you the mousseline pastel in the loose powder so you can kind of see how those match. So here it is. Now, I typically like to isolate the lavender shade in here as well, but it's much easier with the pressed powder. So let me just try to go in the same order that we're in on the pressed powder. So here's this, and let's put it, here's the green. You know what, we'll just go above it. Just go backwards above it. So obviously it's easier to see these powders because I picked up a lot more, but the colors are the same. Now, my only issue with the loose powders, as I mentioned, I absolutely love these, but the square caps, they have, that round insert here. So if you have powder, left in the cap, it's messy, so that's my only issue with that. And just for reference, this is 4 shades at 3 grams each. So you've got 12 grams of product in here. They're made in Italy and they have a 1-year lifespan after opening as well. I have to say this one here is probably about 3 years old and absolutely no issues. Moving on to another favorite product from Givenchy. This is the blush, and here I'm using the Chikuhodo KZ2 brush. Absolutely love this, but unfortunately it has been discontinued. And the blush is another one of my favorite products from Givenchy. Unfortunately, these are not available in the US either, so I did purchase these from Feel Unique as well. And I love the little blushes because, personally, I think if you use a fluffy brush with these, I like to decant it into the lid as I'm showing you and kind of swirl the brush into it, and you get this really soft wash of color. And one of the reasons I really like these loose powder blushes is that when you do it in this method, it actually ends up looking a little bit more natural because you can't really get like that solid streak of color unless you don't really, get it mixed nicely into the bristles of your brush. But, you know, in general, it's just so much easier to get kind of that soft flush of color. This shade here is number 4, Organza Sienna. And I believe this is the number 1 selling shade from these Givenchy blushes. Now, the actual packaging of these is smaller than the loose powder, and they've got this mirror cap. Let me just show you those. So here is the loose powder. You've got a mirror on the top, and the little logo is color coded with the blush shade. This is the loose powder here, so you can see the size difference. And we have 4 shades inside at 1.5 grams each. So they're made in Italy, and they also have a 1-year shelf life. They do come with a little puff, which I don't use. Honestly, I don't separate these because it's kind of a pain, but you can totally do that. And I know some people enjoy doing it that way. And I do already have a video on these, so I'll leave that linked down below in the description box. And here's a swatch of the blush that we used today. You can see it's a really beautiful shade. There's some, it's like a peachy brown. Moving on to the highlighter. This is the Teint Couture Shimmer Powder in 01 Shimmery Pink. So this is one of my favorite highlighters of all time because you can build it up and get a more sheeny, you know, highlighted kind of look. Or you can put this on very softly with a brush and get just kind of like that hint, that light reflection. And so it's more versatile than most highlighters because the range of subtlety versus the range of shine that you can get from here is just a little bit more dramatic. It's a little bit easier to use in both extremes, if that makes sense. Now I have to say, unfortunately, I've been having a really hard time finding this highlighter now, so I'm not sure if it's a stock issue that's going on right now or if it's being reformulated or discontinued, but there are 2 shades. So I have the pink, there's also a gold shade, and I have not tried the gold. The gold one is more, it's more readily available. Next, we're using one of the Givenchy eyeshadow palettes, and I wanted to show you how this one comes. This is 9.04, and in these grooves here, it does come with this double-ended brush that just snaps together. So you have this great travel brush. You've got one side that's more of a flat shader type, and then you have more of a crease brush style, and you can just snap them out and store them in there. So I think that's a really great little concept there. And these are the shades. So let me just swatch the ones that I used today. So we started off with this one and this in the crease. So we're going to do this on my hand here. So I used those in the crease, and then I used the light purple and light green matte shades. And I have to say, I actually like just the matte shades, you know, before I added the shimmer as well. It's a really beautiful soft look. And then I went over it with the corresponding metallics, which these metallics, one of the reasons I really like these is if you put them on with a brush, and you can see in my demo here that when I'm applying the metallics with the Sonuji Soft Shader, the first layer is very sheer. So you get just more of that scattered, you know, glitter effect. But then you can keep layering it. You can layer it and layer it and layer it until it's more like a finger swatch, or you can go in directly with your finger and get something a little bit more intense right off the bat. So I love how buildable the shimmers are. So it really, you know, kind of, it's customizable. If you want just like a little bit of scattered shimmer, go in softly with a brush, but you can also build that up to your desired level very easily. So I really, really love that. I love these shadows. And yeah, I think they are just very smooth and creamy and easy to work with. Now, finishing off this eye look, I'm using one of the Givenchy Koh Couture eyeliners. So this is a creamy retractable eyeliner. I'm using the shade 6 Lilac, which is a beautiful purple. And you can see that it's a little bit of a brighter purple here than what I'm using in the palette. And I think overall this whole look, this eye look to me, just, it reminded me of hydrangeas in spring. So I just thought that this went well together. So let me just swatch the eyeliner here. And that's the eyeliner. These eyeliners stay put for me. They're creamy and easy to use. And they've got some really fun colors in there. Now for brows, I like going simple and easy. So I'm using the Mr. Brow Pencil in shade 2 medium, and then the Mr. Brow Groom Gel. And that really like stays put. You can put on a bunch. If you put on a ton of this, you know, it will be, you know, it'll dry and harden and get like kind of like crunchy, but it doesn't flake. It doesn't turn white like some of the other brow gels. However, I like to use kind of a lighter layer and brush through it so it's still like soft to the touch on my brows. And I think, you know, it just gives a really nice finished look. The Givenchy Volume Disturbia mascara, this is the first time I'm using it, and it's supposed to increase volume by about 93%. And I have to say, I don't know if the percentage is accurate, but I definitely see increased volume. And I've actually gone back. This is the end of the day that I'm recording this part now, and it has held up so well, no flaking, and I think my lashes just look really, really nice. So I'm looking forward to trying this out more. And the brush, you know, it's unique. It's supposed to kind of help, it has like these micro bristles to kind of help coat your lashes, and at the same time this is a volumizing mascara that's not really all that clumpy, so I kind of find that to be really interesting. The brush is different for me, so I'm still not used to it, but and I have to say, at first I didn't think I liked the brush, but now I'm not so sure because my lashes really look nice. So stay tuned for a future update, but so far I really like the mascara. Another favorite product for me is the Givenchy lip liners. And I have a couple shades in this lip liner. The formula is great. It's a pencil that you sharpen. It's made in the Czech Republic. It's 1.1 grams. I think it's a really great product performance-wise, but I also absolutely love this shade, Parma Silhouette, and I'll swatch this for you at the end of this little demo. But I end up using this shade. This is like one of my go-to shades. This, Pat McGrath Half Naked, or Done Undone. Those three are the ones that I reach for the most. So I absolutely love this. I think the formula is fantastic. I do plan on picking up a backup of this at the Sephora, or during the Sephora sale. And then we're topping it with a new product. And this is available at Sephora. I would definitely recommend looking at these during the Sephora sale, which starts on April 1st for VIB Rouge members. But I picked up the shade 210. So these are the marbled lip balms, and they do have mint in them. So there's a little bit of a lip plumping effect. They also have some skincare ingredients like pink pepper extract, which is for like nourishing and protecting your lips. You've got vitamin C in there. And, you know, this is supposed to give you like 24-hour hydration. I think it's very comfortable on the lips. It's not really sticky, maybe like a little stickiness, but nothing bothersome. So they give plenty of pigment, they're comfortable, and they're gorgeous. And I have to say, this shade 210 matches the lip liner very, very well. So you don't have to use a lip liner with these. I just, now that I'm getting older and my lip lines aren't quite as defined naturally, I like to kind of add in a lip liner border, usually with wearing glosses, just to help prevent any sort of movement. But I have not had issues with this particular gloss moving. And I've worn this several times already. So if we're looking at the product here, we have this pink leather cap up here. It is a marbled product. And let's take a look at the shade. This one here is 210 right there. And there are several shades in this line. Two of them are pH inducing. So shades, I believe it's number 1 and 11. So 1 is like the light pink shade, and 11 is the one that looks like a deep berry. I forget what it's called. Like black pink, I think. Yeah, I think it's called black pink. You can see how close the lip liner and the lip gloss are here. But the black pink and the 01 shade are both pH inducing, so they will change color on your lips a little bit. The rest of them, however, are not. And I have been enjoying these, and I really like how much pigment there is in these that really kind of stays put. It lasts, a little bit, about as long as a lip gloss or a lip balm, like an average time for that. So you're looking at like 2-3 hours or so. And it gives you this nice shine finish, and they're very comfortable. So overall, I think they are a fantastic new product. And I've only picked up the one shade so far, but I am picking up more during the Sephora sale. So I hope all of this was helpful. I have to say, Givenchy, again, it's one of the most underrated brands. I think they just don't get a lot of press here in America, partly because they're not coming out with collections constantly, like some other brands. We don't have like a ton of different new releases happening all the time. But then I think it's also partly because some of their best products haven't been released here in the US, like the loose powder blushes and the pressed powders. Those are some things that should be released here in the US, and yet they haven't been. So hopefully in the future, Givenchy will bring those to America. But, regardless, when I go through and think about what my favorite products are to use for different things, Givenchy is probably the brand that has the most favorites overall. So I think they're just absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to try more of these lip balms. I call them lip glosses, but they're technically the lip balm, liquid balm. And I'm very excited. I think I might also pick up more of these eyeshadows too. Really want to try the one with the bright green. So anyway, I hope this was helpful, and please let me know what you think, and I will see you very soon. So have a great day and stay safe and healthy.